Yo, 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 yo. July the 30th, Thursday, 2020. I don't know what day this is of lockdown. I've lost all track of that. Still on lockdown. What can you do? I love lockdown. Some people, extroverts, are going crazy. They don't. I really feel sorry for them. I saw some video on one of these channels where these people had a big party because they're extroverts, man. They got to be around other people. They don't know what to do. They drain. They tired because they got to be around other people. God bless you, extroverts. I'll give you a little advice. Try to start reading, start studying, man. I know it drains you guys to be alone, but try to get that balance. Do a little more. And like I tell the introverts, try to be a little more extroverted. Try to. I know people suck, but you suck too. So try to join something. I recently joined a running group called Black Men Run, and that was like a big deal for me because I usually I like to do things by myself. I don't like waiting on nobody. I don't want nobody waiting on me. I might be running, I might meet somebody or see somebody, I might stop and run my mouth, and then everybody waiting on me. Or sometimes I might just want to stop. But, I'm trying to get a little more out there. So, you know, pats on the back. Try to get a little more out there, though, if you're an introvert. If you're an extrovert, try to do a little more reading. Start off like an hour a day, 30 minutes a day. Anyway, chapter 3 of this awesome book is labeled Power. So I do not pity my 7-year-old self for identifying racially as black. Well, the story goes, he was going to a new school, the author, Mr. Kendi, and there was a black teacher, and it was a majority black school, and he asked the teacher, why aren't there more black teachers? I think she was like the only one. And as 7 years old, he asked that question, and the teacher couldn't answer it. It's like my question about the New Orleans Public Library, why in a city like New Orleans, all the leadership of the library is white, but they got rid of me for that, so fuck y'all too. Anyway, so I do not pity my 7-year-old self for identifying racially as black. I still identify as black. Not because I believe blackness or race is a meaningful scientific category, but because our societies, our policies, our ideas, our histories, and our cultures have rendered race and made it matter. I am among those who have been degraded by racist ideas, suffered under racist policies, and who have nevertheless endured and built movements and cultures to resist, or at least persist through this madness. I see myself as culturally and historically and politically in blackness, and being an African American, an African, a member of the forced and unforced African diaspora. I see myself historically and politically as a person of color, as a member of the Global South, as a close ally of Latina, East Asian, Middle Eastern. I see myself historically and politically as a person of color. I dig it. As a member of the Global South. Cool. As a close ally to Latino, East Asian, Middle Eastern, and Native peoples, and all the world's degraded peoples, from the Roma and Jews of Europe to the Aboriginals of Australia, to white people battered for their religion, class, gender, transgender identity, ethnicity, sexuality, body size, age, and disability. Wow. Well, I have to disagree on that because I don't feel like if all those people were allies of us, why are we here? It's just like what I was talking about in a few other videos. If we got all these people that's in solidarity with us, why are we here? It's like, when you was young and we was living in a project, and in the 80s, they had a guy, his name was David Jackson, and everybody last name Jackson, Michael Jackson was their cousin. I don't know, if you're a certain age, that's probably like weird. Nobody, if Michael Jackson's cousins right now probably disowning them. His real cousins. But back then in the 80s, everybody would say Michael Jackson, their cousin. Everybody's last name was just a little thing a lot of black folks did. But that's what you telling me. You telling me you live in a project, but Michael Jackson your cousin. How that work? You know what I'm saying? You telling me you got $50,000 in the bank, but you catching the bus, so you broke, you don't have anything. But I got $50 million in the bank. It's hidden. Like this guy in a homeless shelter. I ain't gonna say his name, but I used to work at a homeless shelter. The guy, he was kind of mentally insane. He might not have been. And he would always talk about how he got all his money buried on St. Charles Avenue, uptown. If you're from New Orleans, you know where that's at. If not, I don't know what to tell you. Google it. He used to say he had all his money hidden and buried. He was like, man, I got $100,000. He was kind of off. He was like, man, I got $100,000 buried on the corner. I'm gonna go get it too. I'm gonna go get it. But he was kind of thrown off. But I said, you know what? That dude probably was telling the truth. I said, I need to go dig up that stuff because he might not have been crazy. And he was like, man, he said he used to sell dope. I used to sell so much dope. I got so much money buried all over the city. He might be telling the truth. But anyway, that's how I feel. If we got all these allies, what's the problem? Like I said, we got all these Middle Eastern and East Asian allies, then, why are they aligning with our businesses or bringing us into their business? Because we're allies, and you don't want to see your allies broke and bummed out and having nothing, because then we're allies, right? I mean, we're in solidarity, right? Each one teach one and all that other bullshit and garbage. So, I'm not with that, But then he always talks about, he goes on to talk about some white people do not identify as white for the same reason they identify as not racist, to avoid reckoning with the way that whiteness, even as a construction and mirage, has informed their notions of America and identity and offered them privilege. The primary one being the privilege of being inherently normal, standard, and legal. It is a racial crime to be yourself if you are not white in America. It is a racial crime to look like yourself or empower yourself if you are not white. I guess I became a criminal at 7 years old. And that is loaded. Even with the hairstyle, I see like mainly African American people, they're so obsessed with their appearance. Like, I mean, I wish we could like get a chart or something and see how much we spend on, and our women are just, and you can't even tell them anything because they get upset and mad and, oh, white women wear weave too, and so it's just futile to even argue with them. But man, the function on just so beauty, it's sad in our community, even with the men, I mean, barbershops and beauty salons would never go out of style. I don't care what kind of recession we have, because we as a people, as African Americans, we are obsessed with it. And this is why, because you can't just be normal. You either have to be here, I went to Harvard, graduated with honors, or I went to jail for 10 years. No, I never went to jail. I went to school, and I was an average student, and not myself. I was a pretty good student, I think, AP. But, when do we have the privilege of just being normal, man? Can I just be normal? Like even some of my videos, I do reviews on all kind of books, but I get the most views when they have nigga in the title. Or if it's like some kind of negativity, There's a book I reviewed on here called Don't Say Hi to Me. And there's a book by an Indian guy from India, great book. And I get so many views on that because I guess they saw the title and they think, oh, he's fighting. That's why I would never come on YouTube and have no kind of like back and forth or what, because I'm not into that, man. And if you into that, bye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, I'm not into that. I don't go on those videos and talk about them. Leave me alone too. So, but he goes into power. He talks about Prince Henry the Navigator. You know, you definitely should read this chapter if you're interested in history. I think it goes more with his other book, Stamped from the Beginning, which I haven't read yet, but I will. He talks about how Prince Henry, you know, sponsored the voyages to West Africa, the Portuguese, you know. He talks about the Atlantic slave trade, how it actually started and who was responsible for it. You know, it's kind of old news to me, but if you're into history and you don't know, then, you know, you should definitely check it out, you know. But he goes on to talk more about power and how power form racial constructs. How the people in power said that, okay, those people are black, those people are mulattoes, those people are mestizos or whatever. So he's going more into that. I won't get into that because I want you to read it yourself. But, you know, that's chapter 3. I think it was a great chapter, you know. And the author, he really does a good job breaking it down. And I want you to read it. I'm not here to just explain what the book is about because you're too lazy to read it. I want to discuss it, how I felt about what I read. That's what I do this for. I don't do this so you could just listen to me and then go say, well, your boy said that's what the book about. No, man. Get off YouTube. I'm on YouTube telling you to get off YouTube. That's how much I care about views and all that. Get off YouTube and go read this book. Or go read something that you're interested in. Then you get on YouTube and talk about it. I'll follow you. Maybe we'll discuss it. We'll read it together. You guys have a great day. Peace.